Welcome to Bayer Nigel plant. Bayer is a global life science company with a presence all over the globe. Safety, health and environmental protection is the company's highest priority. Bayer has life values of leadership, integrity, flexibility and efficiency. Safety is the most important aspect of our business. We ask that all employees, contractors and visitors please comply with our site rules and regulations that will be featured in this video. Remember that everyone is responsible and accountable for their own safety at Bayer. We strive to achieve and maintain zero harm by providing all with a safe and healthy working environment. Environmental protection is also of paramount importance for Bayer. Site access rules. Access is controlled for all those that enter the site for safety and security reasons. Visitors will be required to fill in an entry permit, which should be signed by the person being visited. No liquor, firearms or cameras are allowed on site. The taking of pictures is strictly prohibited. The speed limit throughout the site is 20 km per hour. All employees, permanent or non-permanent, and contractors must undergo the induction program prior to commencing work. No children are allowed on site unless prior arrangement has been made with management. The QHSE policy is displayed throughout the site in different locations and is available on request. This site is ISO 9001 Quality Management System, ISO 14001 Environmental Management System, and OHSAS 18001 Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series certified. Bayer Proprietary Limited is part of the CAIA Responsible Care Initiative, which ensures that our operations are carried out in an environmentally responsible manner. Hazard posing risks on site. We have different types of hazardous chemical substances, namely 1. Very toxic, in other words poisonous, 2. Toxic, carcinogenic, mutagenic, teratogenic, 3. Flammable, 4. Corrosive, 5. Harmful, and 6. Irritant. Safety data sheets, SDSs, should be consulted when in doubt about the hazardous nature of any substance. SDSs are available from supervisors. Do not handle chemicals that you're not trained to handle. Always wear the required PPE. Driven machinery represents a hazard on site. Forklifts are always moving in and out of working areas. Pedestrians must always use the small door and not the roller door. Forklift drivers are required to hoot prior to entering a working area. Pedestrians must use walkways throughout the site when moving around. Another hazard is stationary machinery with rotating parts. Beware of nip points. Do not wear loose items of clothing. Report damaged machine guards or removed machine guards. Tampering with safety interlocking systems is not allowed unless it is conducted according to the lockout procedure and authorized by the site engineer. Further hazards are unsafe homemade tools or defective tools. No unsafe defective tools should be used. Report any defective tools to your supervisor or SHE rep. For your own safety, do not use tools that you're not trained to use. Always cut away from yourself and not towards yourself. Further hazards are unsafe behavior, human factors. 1. Personnel who smoke in non-designated areas. This poses a serious fire hazard. 2. Taking shortcuts, not following procedures or rushing to finish a job regardless of safety. 3. Horseplay or driving machinery without a license is a hazard, or doing a job that one is not trained to do. 4. Hands must be washed before and after eating and after handling chemicals. There might still be residue of chemicals left when you're taking your gloves off. Further hazards are certain materials have a flash point of less than 60 degrees Celsius. They're flammable and can ignite spontaneously should there be an ignition source. A high standard of housekeeping is essential to prevent this build-up of combustible materials. Electrostatic charges are risk ignition sources, which can cause serious fires and explosions. Earthing is of paramount importance to disperse electrostatic charges. Cell phones are not allowed in zoned areas, for example, liquids plant formulation and filling areas. The following types of work require a permit to be issued before any work can be done. A permit is required for any non-routine hazardous work to be done on site. No permit, no work. 1. Working at heights above 1.5 meters. 2. Vessel entry or entering confined spaces. 3. Hot work, welding and grinding, and anything with an ignition source. 4. Excavation work. 5. Line breaks, opening of lines or pipes. 6. Working on highly contaminated equipment. PPE. The employer must provide personal protective equipment to all employees, according to the OSH Act No. 85 of 1993. Personal protective equipment must be worn by employees as required by the employer, according to the OSH Act. Safety shoes are required to be worn for manufacturing plants and warehouses. Safety goggles are to be worn when handling chemicals, whether decanting, filling, or charging. It's best practice to always wear safety spectacles or goggles when entering areas where chemicals are handled and utilized. Overalls must be worn at all times when working with chemicals. Hard hats are required to be worn if there's a risk of injury from falling objects. A mask must be worn when working with substances that are harmful to health on inhalation. Masks must always be kept in sealable plastic bags to prolong the lifespan of the cartridges and for one's health. Gloves must be worn at all times when handling chemicals and there's any risk of exposure. Safety harnesses must be worn when working at heights where there is a risk of falling. PPE must be inspected on a regular basis by SHE reps and supervisors. Defective PPE must be reported to SHE reps or supervisors with immediate effect. Contaminated PPE must be disposed of as hazardous waste. According to the OSH Act, every employee, visitor and contractor is responsible for his or her own safety. The safety rules of the site have to be complied with at all times, including procedures and PPE requirements. No intoxicating liquor or drugs must be brought onto the premises, and no person under the influence of such liquor or drugs must be allowed in the workplace. Random alcohol testing is conducted on site. Visitors must stay with their host at all times. The employee must carry out any lawful order from the employer and obey health and safety rules and procedures laid down by the employer. The employee must report any unsafe or unhealthy situation to the employer or she rep. Report all incidents to the supervisor or management before the end of that particular shift. Personal responsibility. 1. All employees working on the filling lines must follow the decontamination procedure. 2. No overalls, PPE or contaminated clothing is permitted to be taken off-site. 3. Employees must remove their personal clothing and wear overalls at the beginning of the shift. 4. Certain products and raw materials that are handled on site are very toxic, poisonous. Therefore, it is of paramount importance that decontamination takes place. 5. All spills, splashes, no matter how small, must be reported to the supervising staff. Do not keep wearing an overall that a chemical has splashed onto. Remember, it is toxic to your health. There are trained qualified first aiders permanently on site, and fully equipped first aid boxes are available throughout the site. The clinic is open daily from 8 until 13 hours. Procedures. In case of fire, activate the red push buttons located throughout the plant. The fire alarm is tested every Friday at 11 a.m. for about 10 seconds. Now, should there be an alarm for more than 10 seconds or at any point in time other than testing times, that will be regarded as a real emergency. Everyone on site must evacuate to their assembly points. Visitors should proceed with their host to the assembly point. When evacuating a building, ensure that all windows are closed and all electrical equipment must be switched off, if it is safe to do so. Important telephone numbers in case of emergency are Clinic 8612, Ambulance 084 124 or 082 112, Police 10111, Fire 011 814 8111 or 2, QHSE 8675 and Security 8614. Please obey all signage around the plant, both mandatory and prohibitory. Responsible Care is a voluntary initiative of the global chemical industry, focused on improving performance, communication, and accountability. Responsible Care commits companies through their national chemical associations to work together to continuously improve the health, safety, and environmental performance of their products and processes. It's a major contribution by the industry in achieving sustainable development and improving performance. Environmental. Waste is any substance which cannot be reduced, reused, recycled, or recovered. These are different types of waste. 1. General waste, and 2. Hazardous waste. General waste is waste that does not pose an immediate hazard or threat to health or to the environment, and includes A. Domestic waste, B. Building and demolition waste, C. Business waste, and D. Inert waste. Hazardous waste is any waste that has toxicological characteristics. These have a detrimental effect on your health and the environment. Examples of hazardous waste generated on site are 1. Used PPE, masks, gloves, filters, etc., contaminated plastics, and card boxes. 2. Used chemical packaging materials. 3. Waste water and solvent used for cleaning vessels. 4. Contaminated rags and absorbent used for cleaning chemical spillages. 5. Contaminated sawdust or sawdust used for cleaning floors. 6. Containers containing residue of paint. 7. Used fluorescent tubes contain poisonous mercury. 8. Redundant or rejected batches of product or raw materials. 9. Filters from extraction units, used oil, used batteries, and used printing cartridges. It's against the law to dispose of any hazardous waste as general waste at the municipal bin. Hazardous waste poses a threat to health and the environment and must be disposed of in an environmentally sound manner. Closure. If you are unsure of something or regard it as unsafe, stop, think, ask someone, and then only act or proceed. Please let us all work together to keep Bayer a safe and healthy environment in which to work. Thank you for watching the Bayer Induction video. Please have an incident-free day.